Hey, what's up, guys? David Glenn of davidglennrecording.com and theproaudiofiles.com. I'm really excited about this tutorial today because I'm going to be giving some props to the good people over at Radix, I hope I'm saying that right, but Auto Align they've got out, and it is just blowing my mind. Not only am I going to show you this because I know this has been covered and reviewed by some other people, but I'm going to show you how I'm incorporating it into my mixing workflow. This is something that I'm doing when people send me files as a mixing engineer, and I think that workflow will help you as well. So I'm going to run through it quickly because it's been covered so many times because it is so amazing. But and then I'm going to show you my workflow of how I'm exporting and then importing back in. So to kick things off, the first thing that I'm going to do is pull this bad boy open for drums, and I'm going to put it on my left overhead. Now I want to give a shout out as my voice cracks. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Neil and thank him for helping me with this workflow, and then also Bill Kamek over at Pensado Students. Kind of talked through this with those guys a little bit on some of the forums, and the way I originally used it worked great, but the way that they directed me to using it has drastically improved. So shout out to those guys. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be for drums, delay, and polarity, and I'm going to set that up on my overhead left, and I'm going to set that to be the send channel. I'm just going to leave it at 1. That's cool. Then I'm going to open this guy up and just probably copy this to the others right here, and I'm going to receive on 1. So let's get rid of the send and receive on 1. Now I can copy that receiving on channel 1 to all the other tracks. All right, so once we've got that instantiated across all the tracks, the only other real step that there is to this plugin is to go in and kind of listen for the noise floor, and you'll see this this right here. This is the input for the kick drum, so let's solo that. Just kind of lift it up above that right there. You can see the peaks are hitting up here. Come over here and do the same for the kick out. Looks like I already did it. Good to go. Kind of do that through these. Very cool. Could probably go ahead and safely use that setting for time's sake. We'll go ahead and move through these. Put this over here. The manual says that it will react better when you use it this way. So cool. So now we've got it on every track. I'm going to come over here, and first things first, I'm going to come make sure it's on delay and polarity. We're good to go. Sending to channel 1, receiving at 1. I'm going to hit detect. I'm going to hit play. It's going to blink, and when it's done, it'll stop blinking. That's how we know. We can move on to the next track. So here's detect. Here we go. Very cool. It's done. So now we move on to the next one, and this is our kick out, detect. Very cool. Took that one a minute to get it, but it got it. Let's go here. And then our snare bottom, and then I'll zoom forward. Very cool. So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to zoom forward. Catch you in a second. All right, so I went ahead and processed it for the other tracks. Now I'm going to give you a quick before and after, and then I'm going to show you how I'm bouncing these so that I can create a folder, keep it organized, and then I'm going to bring it into my session that that was for this song. It was a live gospel track, live recording. These were live drums, just mics thrown up in place, probably for the guy, maybe patched through some direct outputs or something, but I'm going to pull these into my session and show you how I've treated those drums a little bit, and you can hear the before and after is pretty incredible. So one time real quick, we're going to hit before, and let's hear it from, that's probably a good section. Got some fills in there, some pretty cool stuff. And let's take a listen. And this is before. Okay, and here's before, and I'm going to click it in. And then back out. In. Yeah, man, and these aren't even like mixed. There's nothing on these except for the mics to the preamp to digital, and it sounds that good. So it's incredible. Even better than that, I'm going to show you whenever they are mixed how big of a difference it can be. The gist of how I'm exporting these and keeping things organized is I will go through and I will pretty much just select them. And in Pro Tools, you can hold Command, Option, Shift, and go to your first track here and send that out to a bus. Let's go here. I've got a couple that are used. So let's go to 67. And if I let go, now everything goes to an individual bus and I can export them beautifully. That menu in Pro Tools, whenever you do that, go to right click, bounce bus 67. This dialog will pop up and you can see that you can name it there. I'll name it nice and neat. Usually they don't come in labeled very well, so I'll call that kick in, kick out, snare top, snare bottom, yada yada. Do it offline. It's a click of a button. I'll put that in the folder called DGR drums for David Glenn recording drums. I know that I process those. You can call it auto align drums, whatever, and then import it from there. So I'm going to leave you guys for a second. I'm going to click over to another session, and I'll show you how these drums sounded whenever I process them with the mix. All right, so here we are in the session that I've got the mix, and I'm going to go ahead and solo the drums, and this is the way that they were before I used AutoLine, before I purchased it, and then I'm going to flip over and show you afterwards. So here we go. Just drums. All right, pretty sweet. So I guess I'm cheating a little bit. I've got a snare blended in that I'm enhancing this snare with. Done quite a bit of transient designing and that kind of stuff. But even so, though I've mixed it, listen to the difference whenever I switch over to the playlist containing the auto align drums. So I'm going to hit play with this, and then I'm going to switch over to the corrected drums. Probably worth showing from there when it's getting crazy. Let's hear that. And then back to the old drums. Very cool. So it's subtle because the snare is being triggered a little bit. Maybe I can mute that for us. But what you'll hear is the snare kind of goes from just slightly off to the left to centered. And then for me, it tightens up the whole kit. The kick gets punchier. I haven't sample replaced those kicks. That's the kick in, the kick in and the kick out working together. I've got my processing going on or whatever, but listen to the punch again. So here's the snare trigger muted, and let's hear it before. Let's go to a section where maybe, like here we got 4 on the floor. After. Yeah, I'm getting more punch from the auto align drums, and I'm getting more just nice cohesion from the overall kit, and I love it. I love what it's doing to it. These are hyper real, they're processed, but even so, they're not just the dry mics anymore. I'm still feeling the oomph from auto align, and I think it did an incredible job. So even without the trigger. So anyways, love this plugin. I love what it's doing. The people are great. The customer service is incredible. Check them out. The other plugin that they have that I've yet to work on yet or use is Pi, P-I. And I'm excited to use that as well. If I get anything close to the results that I've gotten with this, then it'd be a great purchase. So anyways, thought you'd enjoy that. Mixing drums with auto align. And davidglenrecording.com. Send me any questions, emails to david@davidglenrecording.com. And of course, check out the proaudiofiles.com. So we'll catch you on the next one.